Once again, another episode of Mob Psycho Season 2 feels like 10 minutes. But okay. The moral dilemma that Mob goes through throughout this episode blows my mind. I honestly think this is probably one of the most in-depth, spiritual shows I've seen. In terms of handling the supernatural and all that. I don't think I've ever seen an anime really handle what Mob is going through as well as it's doing right now. And let me clarify, I will explain why this is such a good episode for the story, but also for Mob as a character. So Mob, ever since the very beginning, the beginning, Season 1 beginning, Mob is someone that doesn't want to harm others. This has been established for a very long time. He doesn't want to raise a hand, or anything against the individual. He won't use his psychic powers to hurt anyone. Now, we do know that when his stress builds up to a certain point, he goes into a freak out, his psychic abilities break, and he just goes completely off the rails and just has a temper tantrum, so to say. And we know he can harm people in that moment, but overall, Mob as a character, he doesn't want to harm anyone. He doesn't want to cause any harm to any individual in the world. And so, we know he's a kind boy. Mob is a kind kid that honestly has a good heart. He has his heart in the right place, and it's understandable why many would, actually think he's a great guy because of how he treats people. And so, when you see how this episode depicts Mob and what he has to go through, it really just opens your eyes up to what he's going to have to face going forward, and how can he handle the issues that he's currently facing, and how will he go about it. So, to get right into it, let's look at the situation. There was 2 examples in this episode that showed something that Mob was facing. At the beginning of the episode, Mob is pretty much bullied. He has this dude walk up to him and try to start bullying him, asking for money. He's like, hey, give me your money and all that. He's trying to steal from Mob, bully him, and just make it to where Mob's life is a living hell. That's what, these 2 guys were trying to do. And obviously, Mob being someone that's kind of out of the loop, someone that is easy prey, or he looks like easy prey, he didn't really comprehend the situation. And he didn't try to run away, he didn't really get nervous, he was just like, what? And then, they were wanting money from him. And obviously, if Mob really wanted to, let's say because of his psychic powers, he could instantly just destroy them, get them away, and he would be a-okay. But that's the thing. Mob as a character, he would never do that. That's the main point of his character. He doesn't want to cause harm to people. So, when you see all of Mob's friends pop up, like the Body Improvement Club, to Mob's brother, to, just seeing everybody pop up and trying to help him out, like Dimple and all that, you're like, holy crap, Mob is really surrounded by a lot of good people. They're trying to help him out, they're trying to protect him, keep him safe, and they're trying to look out for him. And at the end of that convo, we're like, hey man, you got the power and all that, why aren't you defending yourself? Yes, you have all these crazy powers and you may not want to use them, but look, you can defend yourself, why aren't you doing that? You can get rid of these guys like that and they're gone. But obviously, this is a part of Mob's character. He doesn't want to do that. And so we understand as the audience why Mob is not doing it, but they are still just, confuddled, why isn't he doing anything? And so, to get into the main point of what I'm talking about, let's fast forward towards the ending of the episode, and Mob confronts spirits. It's a part of a job for Reagan. Reagan wants, these spirits, exorcised, because, these clients came out, it's like, hey, we need you to exorcise these spirits no matter what. We have 3 of them, they need to be exorcised. So obviously, Reagan, he brought Mob with him to be able to get the job done. And in that moment, we see how Mob encounters these spirits that aren't necessarily evil. They're straight up good spirits. It's a family that died prematurely, and they didn't really get a lot of time to spend time with each other when they were alive. When they were still living, they couldn't really, cherish their time together. But now that they're in the afterlife, they pretty much have all the time they can be together, and when they're finally satisfied, they finally have, that fulfillment, they can move on to the afterlife together. That's basically the summary on the 3 spirits that Mob was being tasked to exorcise. And the point of this scene was to show that there is spirits that aren't evil. Now, that's common logic. It's common knowledge and it's logic. It's just yeah, okay, there's good spirits, fine. I mean, there's bad spirits, there's good spirits. I mean, look at Dimple. You know, he went from this really evil guy to a good guy and all that so far throughout the series. So, I mean, when we really think about everything, you know, people can change and there is good and bad spirits. However, there's a lot more meaning to it for Mob than anything else. Because when we look at what everything Mob has been doing to this very point in the series, he's been exercising a bunch of spirits. Like, he's constantly getting rid of them, throwing them out, you know, exterminating them. And they're completely gone. And in that moment, when Mob was tasked with exterminating these good spirits, he realized something. He was at a moral dilemma. There's good spirits. I don't want to erase them, but in turn, I'm technically hurting the clients that want this job done. And then Mob started to think about everything that already happened to him previously with the bully. And the whole setup with how he didn't use his powers to, you know, get rid of, you know, the bullies. And this is, you know, completely tied in with how Mob gets rid of bad spirits. He's like, wait a minute. I exterminate bad spirits, I get rid of them, but I let bad people, bad humans, get away with everything, and I don't do anything to raise a hand. And he's like, why? Because Mob, as an individual, he is in a perfect boundary between both sides, between the living and the dead, and he gets to experience life in a very different way. And because of this, you know, everything mixes together, and he sees spirits in a way, honestly, that are very similar to humans. You know, they're still living technically to him. That's how he feels. And so, if he exterminates bad spirits, why is he not exterminating bad people? In that moment, when he realized at the beginning, he's like, do I have anyone to hate? And you have, like, that 10-second pause or whatever, where he's thinking, like, if he hates anyone, that moment was Mob trying to figure out, does he? And he said no. And it was a very interesting topic, because it makes you wonder, if Mob did ever hate someone, what would happen? Like, how bad would it really be? And I'm going to assume really bad, which I will get into. But the point was, as Mob came to the moral dilemma to where he's like, if I exterminate bad spirits, why am I not exterminating bad humans? And he didn't realize, like, how it looked now, and how, you know, he wasn't taking into account the spirit's feelings as well, alongside of, you know, the bad humans' feelings too. And so he's like, what do I do? And he's confused now. So it's a really good episode for Mob's character to really dive into his psyche and let us know kind of what issues he is facing right now. And I do wonder how he's going to overcome it. It's not an issue I can really give an answer to. I can't really say, you know, what could be a fix to this for Mob. I really have no idea, because technically, you know, handling bad, you know, spirits, you know, in a lot of ways, since he wants to, you know, apply the two together, make it very similar, like, you know, bad humans, bad spirits, I don't really know the proper answer. I don't know what Mob has to do to really overcome this, and I think, you know, no one's really going to be able to give him an answer. He's going to have to come to his conclusion on his own to make peace with it. Now, speaking of what would happen if Mob was to, let's say, hate someone, oh my god, like, it would be pretty bad. And the reason why it would be bad is because, let's take, for example, what we saw in this episode with Regan. Regan, he had a dude come up to us like, hey, I want you to curse this dude. And Regan, obviously not wanting to curse people, even if Regan had spiritual powers or whatever, he wouldn't want to curse anyone. And so in that moment, though, he just wrote a fake little curse, and he's like, hey, you know, take this with you, and eventually the dude will be cursed. And later on in the episode, we see Regan is cursed, and he's like, most likely it's that dude. He found a real dude that could curse people, and he probably cursed me. In that moment, I think it shows how powerful Mob hating someone would be, or how scary it would be. Because this individual that has no spiritual power whatsoever going up to someone is like, hey, I want you to curse someone, and, you know, you see Regan getting cursed. Imagine what would happen if Mob wanted to curse someone. How bad it would be. If he hated someone and cursed someone, that would be a very scary experience. So Mob is someone that is incredibly dangerous. He realizes that his emotions are extremely important. Depending on how he feels about certain individuals can really dictate how their life is going to be, because that's just how strong his supernatural powers really are. And so, yeah, it's a great episode. I think out of all the episodes of Season 2, this is easily the best episode yet, but also I think that this is easily in my top 3 favorite episodes of Mob Psycho's anime so far. Like, this is a really good episode to showcase so many things that Mob is having to go through that none of us could really comprehend or understand, and I appreciate that. So I think I'm going to end this video here. Great episode. Love everything that happened. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next and how Mob is going to handle it all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, because for some reason, even if you click the subscribe button, you don't always get notified for whenever a video is uploaded. So if you do want to get notified, you got to hit that bell icon. And with that, guys, I love you. Please be safe. Chibi out.